Introduction: the hidden mechanics of energy. There is an invisible rhythm shaping everything you experience. It exists between words, behind choices, and beneath emotion. It's the pulse of reality, the vibration that responds to every thought, every feeling, every intention. Most people move through life unaware that they are broadcasting energy all the time. They speak about luck, timing, or coincidence, never realizing that what they call fate is simply resonance in motion. The law of resonance says this: you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. You draw experiences that match your dominant vibration, not your spoken desires. That's why two people can say the same affirmation, but one sees results while the other doesn't. The difference isn't in the words, it's in the energy behind them. To master this law is to live consciously, to feel what you are emitting, to choose your vibration instead of reacting from it, to understand that every emotion, every thought, every silence is an instruction to the universe. You are not here to chase alignment, you are here to become it. Because energy doesn't follow effort, it follows resonance. Chapter 1. Everything is energy. Have you ever noticed how one person can walk into a room, say nothing at all, and still change the atmosphere? Maybe it's their calm, maybe it's their confidence, maybe it's just something you can't name, but you feel it. That's energy, that's resonance. And whether you realize it or not, you're broadcasting yours all the time. When you wake up anxious and scroll through your phone before you even stretch, you're already tuning your field. When you walk into work with a fake smile but a heavy heart, that vibration speaks louder than your words ever could. When you're truly at peace, when you're aligned, people can feel that too. Everything is energy. Every word, every thought, every transaction, every post you like, every story you click, every conversation you join. You're exchanging vibration. We've been taught to think of energy as something mystical, invisible, or too abstract to matter. But it's the most practical force in existence. When you walk into a bank, the energy there is different from a coffee shop. When you open social media, the energy of comparison hits you instantly. The endless scroll of curated perfection whispering, "You're behind." That's energy too. And if you're not aware of it, it begins to shape how you feel, how you act, and how you create. The law of resonance reminds us energy doesn't lie. You might say, "I'm fine." But if your vibration says, "I'm drowning," life will respond to that, not to your words. So if everything is energy, what does that mean for you? It means your mood is magnetic, your intentions are frequencies, and your presence, yes, even your silence, is a statement to the universe. Think about it. Have you ever sent a message that said all the right words but still felt off? The other person could sense it, not because of what you wrote, but because of the energy underneath it. That's resonance. That's how truth travels without language. When you complain about your job, but do nothing to shift your energy, that vibration of frustration lingers. It fills the meetings, the emails, the tone in your voice. But when you approach the same day with gratitude, when you decide to be the calm one, the light one, the centered one, everything around you begins to change. Colleagues soften, conversations open, opportunities find you. You didn't need to shout or work harder. You just changed your frequency. The truth is, the world around you isn't responding to what you do. It's responding to what you are. Energy doesn't obey logic, it follows resonance. You can post about abundance all day, but if your energy hums with lack, that's what the algorithm of life mirrors back. You can pray for peace every morning, but if your thoughts are filled with comparison and judgment by afternoon, peace can't stay. That's not punishment, it's physics. The universe mirrors vibration with precision, not to punish, but to teach. So instead of asking, why does this keep happening to me? Ask, what vibration in me keeps matching this? When you start seeing life as feedback, not failure, everything changes. You stop taking things personally. You stop fighting what shows up. You begin adjusting the only thing you ever truly control, your frequency. And frequency doesn't shift overnight. It shifts through awareness, through the smallest consistent choices that realign you to truth. Before you open your phone in the morning, pause. Before you answer that message that triggers you, breathe. Before you say yes to something that feels wrong, feel. Feel the energy behind your actions. Does it come from fear, obligation, proving, or does it come from peace, purpose, and alignment? Because those vibrations build two completely different worlds. Energy is currency. You spend it with every thought, every word, every click, every choice. The question is, what kind of world are you funding with it? When you begin to live energy aware, everything changes. You become less reactive. You choose peace over urgency. You listen before you post. You pause before you speak. And slowly you begin to vibrate at the same frequency as the life you actually want. You stop fighting for success and start resonating with it. You stop searching for love and start broadcasting it. You stop chasing purpose and start embodying it, because everything is energy. And the moment you understand that, you stop trying to manipulate the world and start mastering your vibration. And when you master your vibration, the universe quietly, effortlessly begins to match it. Chapter 2. Emotion, the body of frequency. If thought is the language of the mind, emotion is the language of energy. It's how your vibration speaks through your body, the bridge between your inner world and the physical one you live in. Every emotion you feel, joy, fear, calm, anger, peace, sadness, is feedback from your energetic field. It's your body saying, this is the frequency you're resonating with right now. You don't have to fear your emotions. You don't have to hide them or rush to fix them. You simply have to learn to listen. When you feel anxious, your energy is saying, you've been living in a future that doesn't exist yet. When you feel heavy or numb, your field whispers, you're carrying too much of what isn't yours. When anger rises, it's often your energy defending a boundary you've ignored. And when joy arrives uninvited, it's your soul reminding you what home feels like. Emotion is not weakness, it's intelligence. It's your body's direct translation of vibration. Most of us were never taught to read emotion. We were taught to silence it. We learned early that being strong means holding it together, even when the weight is unbearable. We learn that crying makes people uncomfortable, that sadness is inconvenient, that anger must be hidden, and that fear is failure. So we became fluent in pretending. We smiled when we were breaking. We said, I'm fine, while our bodies screamed otherwise. We swallowed emotion until it hardened into fatigue, resentment, or silence. But silence is not peace, it's just unexpressed energy waiting to be felt. That tension in your chest, that's unspoken truth. That tiredness you can't explain, that suppressed feeling trying to find release. When you ignore emotion, you don't get rid of it. you just bury it alive. And buried emotions don't disappear, they leak. They show up in tone, in posture, in passive anger, in how you treat yourself when no one's watching. The work of resonance begins when you stop running from your emotions and start reading them. Notice how emotion behaves throughout your day, how one post online can lift you or drain you in seconds, how your heart expands when someone genuinely celebrates you, and tightens when you shrink to make others comfortable. How your energy feels different when you're surrounded by people who understand your peace versus those who feed your chaos. Emotion is frequency, and frequency is contagious. That's why certain environments feel heavy the moment you walk in. Not because you're weak, but because your body is reading energetic data faster than your mind. It's also why laughter feels like medicine. It realigns your vibration faster than logic ever could. Your emotions are not random, they're reflections. Each one reveals the conversation your energy is having with life itself. The moment you stop resisting emotion, it begins to transform. Fear, when held with awareness, becomes clarity. Anger, when understood, becomes power. Grief, when honored, becomes compassion. Even shame, when brought into the light, dissolves into humility and strength. Every emotion holds a gift on the other side of resistance, but you only reach it when you stop labeling emotions as good or bad. They're not moral categories, they're energetic states. Each one exists to guide you back to alignment. When you allow yourself to feel without collapsing, to breathe without explaining, to witness without judgment, you become magnetic. Because authenticity is the highest frequency of all. Try this rhythm. Feel, name, retune. Feel. Allow the sensation fully without rushing to analyze it. Don't narrate it, notice it. Where does it live in your body? Is it heat, pressure, a knot in your throat? Stay there for a few breaths. Name, give it language. Say quietly to yourself, this is disappointment, or this is fear, or this is grief that wants acknowledgement. Naming emotion brings it out of the subconscious into awareness, and what is seen can be healed. Retune. Ask, what vibration do I choose now? Maybe it's calm, maybe it's gratitude, maybe it's self-respect. You're not denying the emotion, you're using it as a bridge to shift frequency. This is emotional mastery, not control, but conversation. You stop letting emotions rule you, and instead, you learn to dance with them. Each feeling becomes a note in the song of your energy. Imagine this. You send a message to someone you care about. Hours pass, no reply. Instantly, your chest tightens. Your mind starts writing stories. They're ignoring me. I said something wrong. I knew they'd lose interest. But pause. That reaction is not truth. It's memory. Your emotion just revealed an old frequency of abandonment asking to be seen. If instead of spiraling, you breathe and say, this is my old pattern of unworthiness speaking. I choose peace now. You shift vibration in that very moment. You move from reaction to resonance, from victim to creator, and the universe, always listening, responds. Maybe the person texts you back minutes later. Maybe they don't. Either way, your energy remains steady, and that steadiness is magnetic because you no longer need emotional validation. You've learned energetic sovereignty. Emotion is the body of frequency, your internal compass. your spiritual GPS. And when you learn to honor it, your vibration steadies, clears, and expands. The moment you stop being ashamed of how you feel, your energy stops hiding too. And that's when flow returns. Clear, grounded, and true. You no longer resist life. You resonate with it. You no longer perform peace, you are peace. You no longer chase alignment, you become alignment. Because every emotion, even the uncomfortable ones, is just energy wanting to move. And once you let it move, it always leads you home. Chapter 3, The Echo of Belief. Belief is the architecture of your vibration. It's the invisible scaffolding that shapes how energy moves through you and how life mirrors you in return. If emotion is the current, belief is the container. It decides how far your energy can travel before it collapses under its own doubt. You may say, I am worthy of love, but if somewhere deep inside you still believe you must earn love to deserve it, that unspoken belief becomes the louder frequency. You may say, money flows easily to me, but if you carry the subconscious imprint that wealth belongs only to others, your vibration quietly rejects what your words invite. The universe doesn't respond to your declarations. It responds to your beliefs about yourself while making them. That's the echo, the space between what you say and what you truly believe. And that echoes what the law of resonance amplifies. Most people misunderstand belief. They think it's something you consciously decide, but most belief isn't born from decision. It's absorbed. You absorbed it from the world you grew up in, from the tone of your parents' arguments, from the way adults around you spoke about money, trust, love, and worth, from the way teachers praised or ignored you, from the systems that measured you by performance instead of presence. By the time you reached adulthood, your mind was already carrying scripts that weren't yours. And yet those old beliefs became the very vibration shaping your present life. Take a moment to reflect. What beliefs are quietly scripting your energy today? Do you believe that peace requires control? That rest must be earned? That vulnerability makes you weak? That abundance comes only through struggle? These beliefs are not personal failures. They are frequencies in need of remembering their original tone. Belief is not fixed, it's fluid, and you have the authority to rewrite it. How? By noticing the contradictions between your desires and your expectations. When you say, I want to start a business, but immediately think, what if I fail? That's a belief revealing itself. When you say, I'm open to love, but subconsciously wait for abandonment, that's a belief still echoing from the past. When you say, I'm ready for abundance, but cringe when you check your bank balance, that's your vibration showing where trust hasn't yet anchored. The goal isn't to silence those thoughts, it's to meet them with awareness, because awareness is the first alchemy. You can't shift what you won't look at, and once seen, belief begins to soften. Reprogramming belief isn't forcing yourself to think positive. It's teaching your energy a new language. Start with embodiment. If you're cultivating abundance, tidy your wallet. If you're cultivating love, start showing affection to yourself in small, deliberate ways. If you're cultivating peace, stop feeding chaos with your attention. Energy doesn't learn from theory, it learns from rhythm. The more consistently you act in alignment with a higher belief, the faster your vibration adjusts to it. This is why gratitude works. Not because it tricks the universe, but because it tunes your field back to sufficiency. It's why forgiveness works, not because it excuses the past, but because it unhooks your energy from old loops. And it's why daily presence matters, because belief is not a sentence, it's a state. Every belief you hold emits a frequency, and that frequency, whether conscious or not, is mirrored back through your relationships, your finances, your timing, your health, your work. You don't manifest by begging life to give you something. You manifest by becoming someone who already resonates with it. The echo stops when the inner and outer finally sing the same song, when what you think, what you feel, and what you embody no longer contradict each other. And that harmony, that alignment between thought and truth, is what the next chapter will reveal. Chapter 4: Integrity, the alignment of energy. Integrity is not a moral code, it's an energetic law. It means your vibration is whole. No leaks, no contradictions, no double signals. When thought, word, and action align, the universe responds instantly, not because you forced it, but because resonance becomes clear. You can't deceive energy, you can only distort it. And distortion always delays manifestation. When you say, I want peace, but spend your days feeding drama, your field vibrates confusion. When you declare, I trust the process, but check your phone every 2 minutes for signs of validation, your vibration hums anxiety, not trust. When you post about gratitude online but silently resent your life, the universe doesn't hear the post, it hears the resentment. Energy doesn't respond to image, it responds to essence. Integrity is the reconciliation between who you appear to be and who you actually are when no one's watching. We live in a world obsessed with optics, the curated life, the filtered truth, the illusion of having it all together. But resonance doesn't care about aesthetics, it cares about authenticity. The universe is not fooled by performance, it aligns with coherence. And coherence requires honesty, not perfection, but congruence. When you begin to live with energetic integrity, your vibration becomes steady. Decisions get easier, opportunities align faster, relationships feel cleaner because you're no longer negotiating between multiple versions of yourself. Integrity also shows up in small, unseen ways. When you promise yourself rest but keep scrolling instead, that's a fracture in energy. When you say yes out of guilt instead of truth, that's a leak in vibration. When you keep commitments to everyone but yourself, that's an energetic misalignment that weakens every intention that follows. These aren't punishments, they're invitations to realign, because the universe can't meet you fully while you're half present in your own energy. Living in integrity is not about being flawless. It's about being undivided. It's waking up and choosing truth, even when it's inconvenient. It's saying no without guilt when your energy says no. It's doing what aligns even when no one will applaud you for it. In a world addicted to shortcuts and performance, integrity is rebellion, and that rebellion is sacred. Think of integrity as resonance in action. When you hold integrity in your energy, in the way you speak, spend, love, and rest, you begin to emit a frequency that life can trust. And life responds with the same reliability. It's not coincidence when things start flowing easier. It's the feedback loop of coherence. What you mean, what you say, and what you do finally move in the same direction. And that clarity, That unity of vibration is what allows the law of resonance to work without resistance. Integrity doesn't demand perfection. It simply asks you to stop splitting your power between who you were and who you're becoming. You can't attract wholeness from a fractured vibration. But the moment you realign, the moment you choose coherence over performance, your field stabilizes. Energy recognizes truth faster than words ever could. When you are true, the universe becomes clear. When you are honest, the path unfolds. When you are whole, reality mirrors your wholeness. That is the hidden architecture of power. Not control, not image, just resonance. Steady, clean, aligned. And once your energy learns integrity, you no longer need to chase clarity. You are clarity. Chapter 5. Trust, the frequency of flow. Trust is not blind faith. It is energetic alignment with the rhythm of life itself. When you trust, you stop wrestling with timing. You stop forcing outcomes into your preferred shape. You stop chasing certainty and begin to move with rhythm. Trust says if it is aligned, it will arrive. If it leaves, it was never mine to hold. This isn't passivity, it's participation with the same intelligence that built galaxies and sunsets. The same intelligence breathing through you right now. In a world that glorifies control, trust feels rebellious. But control is rooted in fear, the belief that life will betray you if you loosen your grip. And fear contracts everything it touches. When you trust, your vibration expands. You become magnetic. You allow life to deliver from directions your logic never imagined. Think of rivers. They never argue with rocks. They move around them. They don't stop when the current slows. They deepen. That is trust. Moving with grace inside uncertainty. A woman sits at her desk refreshing her email again and again. Her interview went well. She's sure she said all the right things, but silence stretches for days. Her stomach tightens every time the phone lights up, only to find another promotional message instead. She begins to spiral. Did I say something wrong? Was I not enough? But then she exhales, leans back and whispers, if it's mine, it will return. If it's not, something better is aligning. The next morning, a message arrives. Not the one she expected. Another company unseen before, offering a role closer to a true path. That's how trust works. When you release resistance, life redirects precision. Trust also governs how you handle delay. When something you've prayed for seems to take too long, your vibration is being refined, not punished. Delay is calibration. You are being tuned to hold what you have asked for, without fracturing under its weight. Trust is energetic maturity. It is when you stop asking, when will it come, and start declaring, I am ready whenever it does. Every ending, every redirection, every quiet no is life clearing interference from your field. Resonance cannot deliver truth into a space still crowded with resistance. When you trust, everything becomes communication. You stop labeling experiences as good or bad and start reading them as guidance. Trust does not mean you never feel fear. It means fear no longer makes your decisions. You breathe, you feel. You remember that life is not against you, it is responding to you. And when you trust that rhythm, you step into flow, where effort softens into ease and timing begins to work in your favor. Chapter 6. Embodiment, living as resonance. Awareness is the first step. Practice is the second, but embodiment is mastery. To embody resonance means you no longer talk about alignment, you become alignment. You live it in tone, in gesture, in presence. Your vibration no longer depends on circumstance, it creates circumstance. When you embody peace, you carry it through the noise of the city. You walk past the chaos and still feel calm humming beneath your ribs. When you embody abundance, you see possibility in every delay. When you embody love, you soften the air in rooms that have forgotten tenderness. This is not performance, it is presence. Energy that communicates before you speak. Picture this. You're sitting in traffic late for a meeting. Cars weave, horns blare, tempers rise. The old version of you would join the noise. Tapping the steering wheel, checking the clock, feeling your body harden with impatience. But today, something in you stays steady. You take a breath, rest your phone on the seat, and turn the volume of the world down inside your mind. You whisper, I choose peace even here. By the time you arrive, you're centered. The meeting goes better than expected. Not because the world changed, but because your vibration did. That's embodiment. Embodiment begins when you stop waiting for proof to believe. You act from your future vibration now. You walk like the version of you who has already healed. You make choices like the one who already trusts. You set boundaries like the one who already knows their worth. That is not pretending. That is programming. Energy learns through rhythm, not rhetoric. The more consistently you act in alignment with your higher truth, the faster your vibration stabilizes into it. Embodiment is also discipline. It is choosing integrity when shortcuts whisper. It is choosing patience when urgency demands reaction. It is choosing faith even when sight offers none. There's another scene. A man scrolls through social media watching highlight reels of success. Vacations, awards, perfect smiles. He feels the familiar pull of comparison tightening in his chest. Then he pauses. He places the phone down and takes a slow breath. He chooses gratitude instead of envy. He says softly, "Their light does not dim mine." In that moment, his energy changes. No algorithm can measure it, but life can. He has embodied contentment, and that frequency will echo. The more you embody your truth, the less you need to explain it. People feel it. Your vibration speaks fluent authenticity. Your presence becomes the sermon. That is living as resonance, not seeking signs, but being the sign. Then something begins to happen. When you have practiced long enough, you stop practicing and you simply are. Chapter 7, The Sovereign Frequency. There comes a point in every journey when you stop seeking power, because you realize you are power. Sovereignty is not dominance, it is energetic self-governance. It means your vibration is no longer at the mercy of external noise. Peace is not something you chase, it is something you carry. You no longer need permission to exist as your fullest self. You no longer negotiate your worth for validation. You no longer shrink your light to be digestible. You remember who you are. The sovereign frequency is clarity. You trust your intuition without a second opinion. You create from inner authority, not outer approval. You stop reacting to fear-based systems because your power was never up for debate. This is what it means to live untamed. Not rebellion against order, but liberation from illusion. You honor truth even when it costs you comfort. You walk alone when alignment demands solitude. You speak with softness that still carries fire. because sovereignty does not shout, it emanates. One afternoon, a message arrives, harsh, unfair, words meant to provoke. The old version of you would have defended, explained, proved your point, burned hours in mental rehearsal. Instead, you breathe. You read it once, twice, and simply decide not to absorb it. You type no reply. You close the screen, pour yourself water, and let silence do what truth always does: reveal itself. That moment of non-reaction is sovereignty. It's how energy declares, I do not belong to chaos. To reach this frequency is not to escape being human. It is to be fully human but awake. You still feel emotion. You still meet challenge, but neither dictates your vibration. You meet the world as a mirror, not a master. And in that mirror, you recognize everything you once sought, already alive within you. At the highest resonance, you stop asking how to attract. You realize you are what you once pursued. Love becomes your native frequency. Peace becomes your baseline. Abundance becomes your nature. You do not rise above the world, you recalibrate it by your being. That is the sovereign state. That is remembrance made flesh. So breathe. Feel your body grounded on the earth that carries you. Feel your heart steady in the truth of who you have always been. Feel your energy clean and coherent, harmonizing with life itself. The work was never about becoming more. It was about remembering what was never lost. You are not here to chase resonance. You are here to be resonance, because when you remember who you are, everything that matches you remembers how to find you. Untamed knowing says, remember who you are.